Matthew 5:20. So it says, "For I tell you that unless your righteousness surpasses that of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, you will certainly not enter the kingdom of heaven." I don't know who were the Pharisees. If you could describe how like bad or sinful would I say? Because I'm trying to be better than the Pharisees. So
They were actually the most devout Jewish people you would find on the face of the planet at that time. So these are not people who are just really, really, really horrible. Oftentimes, when we think of Pharisees, we think of them, oh, those dirty Pharisees over there. That's not Jesus' point. The Pharisees were the most well respected religious people of the day. They were so meticulous in trying to keep God's law, at least visibly. You know how in the Old Testament it says you got to tithe, give 10% of everything you get in? They were
yeah,
so fastidious in that they made sure that they even tithed 10% of their spices and herbs that they use for their cooking. So they'd get a piece of like parsley or something. They'd make sure they cut off 10% of it and give that to God. The general person doesn't do that, but these guys were so fastidious in making sure they kept all of God's laws, at least visibly. They didn't keep it perfectly, but so Jesus is saying, the most righteously devout people the Pharisees, you've got to be even better than them to enter heaven.
okay.
So how are you doing compared to that?
Absolutely. I'd say I'm not even close.
Right. Why do you think Jesus is saying this then?
For us to keep trying to be righteous, I guess.
So that we'll enter heaven, otherwise we won't?
No, just
Because this is
nah.
what he's
I'll
saying.
just
If you don't have righteousness that exceeds them, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven, he's saying. So the point he's making, we call this a law verse. A law verse is not a gospel verse. A law verse is designed to make you realize how far you fall short of
yeah,
God's standard, so that you might stop trusting in your own righteousness and trust in someone who is perfectly righteous, whose righteousness far exceeds that of the scribes and Pharisees. And who's that?
Jesus.
Correct,
Right? Yeah.
Jesus Christ. He far exceeds the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees. And so then this is designed to make you realize I could never be as righteous as the Pharisees. I therefore can't go to heaven based on what I do. So I'm going to trust in someone who has Christ. And so the law verses help you realize why you need Jesus.
Thank you. I really understand that now.